This one shift has the potentiality to completely shift your reality. This shift, when made, will take you into the energy field of your true self-empowerment. It will take you into the more deepening of the knowingness of your creator power within you. This shift is monumental. And that is when we start to move from what's going on out there has no connection to what's going on within here. Once we start to realize that every single thing we see out there once started from inside ourselves in our subjective spiritual state, and the spiritual world is what's going on within inside us now. Our level of consciousness, which makes up our thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions, and how then all of that engages with our external world. When we are at a certain phase of the journey, we'll just be constantly looking out there, externalizing everything and blaming the world for what is happening to us. And we will have no conscious awareness of the connection between the inner and the outer. And the outer starts from deep within the recesses of your being. And the more unconscious we are about that, the more we will blame and the more we will play victim to what is happening out there. Because let's face it, when we're on this journey, it's gnarly. It's like, what is going on? There's just keep getting hit one thing after another. And that's totally cool. There's going to be moments where you're like, you can't work it out. You start to try and work things out, and then that leads you down another black hole and another rabbit hole of confusion, brain fog, unclarity, if that's a word. But the more we become aware, the more we make that shift to becoming aware of what's going on within inside ourselves, and then how that's reflected into the world, the more we step into a sense of empowerment and coming away from that energy field of victimhood and blame. Because it's so easy to blame what's going on out there. That's a much quicker and easier route. And our ego loves that energy field. It loves to blame. It loves to project. It loves to not take responsibility for what's going on out there. And we'll ride that till the cows come home. We will literally ride that energy until we're actually worn out ourselves, because that energy field comes with an energy of depletion for us. It's not life affirming. It doesn't boost us up. It doesn't ascend us further. It actually keeps us stuck and locked in to that paradigm of frustration, gnarliness, brain fog. Oh my God, what is this doing to me? Why is the world doing this to me? So, my friends, the journey of becoming more conscious of our subjective state. I went through a really beautiful journey many years ago in my student phase of the connection between the mind, what's going on in, and what's happening out there. This is what actually, on reflection, one of my most beautiful, favorite parts of the journey. I began to notice in a really startling degree how intimately my inner world was connected to the external world. And it came through connection and relationship. And how I would hold people in mind, and then they would appear. There would be this game which felt like it was an autonomous going on. There wasn't any conscious thinking. My intellect wasn't doing any of this. It just seemed to be this autonomous phenomena which just started to happen more and more and more. Someone would come into my mind, and one thing I noticed when that came into my mind, there was a certain quality of that which I started to discern in a really deep degree. And the quality of what was, it was a feeling of warmth and love for the individual. They were held in mind. They just came into my mind. There was this warm feeling which came with it. There was a glow which accompanied it, which felt very different at the time, because I was knees deep for many years in the survival paradigm of fear, guilt, shame, anger. So when I started to experience this shift happening within me, it was so obvious. It was luminous. I'm finding the words, it's hard to find the words to describe what was going on. But there was just this quality that came with it, which felt good. I'm always talking about what feels good. Feeling is the secret, Neville Goddard. And then many years later, I found Neville Goddard's work, which spoke about this. And it's really awesome to see your journey, to overlook it from a wider perspective and see what, damn, man, this is like, it's all connected. It's all been unfolding for my evolution, my development, and my learning of my spiritual path. Yeah. But this phenomenon started to happen, man. And I started to notice it really, really quickly and regular. Sometimes it would happen instantly. Someone would drop into my mind. They'd come around the corner. They were there, smiling, joking, laughing. They were there they are. And it would be like that. Someone else would come into my mind, and the next corner, they would be there. Sometimes it would take a few days. And I feel on reflection, it was for me to get used to and be familiar with this feeling of warmth, of love for the individual. A few days would pass. The person that was just spontaneously coming in autonomously to my consciousness would then appear. There would be a hug, there would be some love, there'd be a conversation of warmth, which then accompanied the feeling state of what was happening within me. And this happened for a long time. It happened for a few years, just on and off. It was just this autonomous process start to drift in. Just this deepening of this understanding of what's happening within me and the intimate link between the external world. And it's from that phase that really put me into a state of reverence and respect for this connection. It made me become very, very aware of the thoughts and feelings that I was holding inwardly due to the fact of how intimate it was, of a consequence between what was going on in here and what I'm experiencing out there. The intimate link drove me into this intense desire to really become aware of what's going on with me because of the consequence it holds and the responsibility that it comes with. This is when you start to really, when you become more aware of this, you can't help but be in awe and be silenced by the responsibility that this comes with. To become more consciously aware of what's going on subjectively inside and how it's connected out there, and the changes we make inside will influence out there, that comes with a lot more responsibility. And that's a path that you are on, my friends. You are on the deepening of your journey of a more responsible path. And that's what comes with living in truth, living in authenticity, waking up to who we truly are. I feel, to me, my subjective experience, this is what it means to me. Awakening means becoming more awake to that responsibility of what is happening inside us and how it's connected to the external world. So wherever you are in this journey, start to nurture this shift. If you've started to make this shift in your life right now and you're becoming more aware of this, start to nurture it, start to love this, start to really be in reverence of the process that you're on. Surrender, accept, fall back in, be in awe of, be excited about, be passionate about this process. And that they are natural characteristics that will just start to arise anyway. They are qualities that are just harmonized and aligned with this process. It's the journey of you stepping into that loving energy to see how this alignment with love starts to be becoming expressed in your life. How is that being expressed in your life right now? With the things that you're learning, drop us a little comment. Let us know what's unfolding for you with this awareness of understanding and feeling of how the inside is connected to the external. And how it's the birthing place of the knowingness that everything you see out there begun in here. It begins in here. It begins in here. Sending you so much love on your journey, my friends. So start nurturing this shift. Begin making this shift more so. Put more energy into this shift and you will be repaid in dividends. Sending you so much love on your journey, my friends. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video.